A very distinguished group over here representing, I think, different parts of the business, people who know retail like the back of their hands. And what we're going to try and do today is to make this as interactive as possible, I will ask a few questions to my distinguished panelists over here, and we'll try and focus some of the stuff which is in your minds as to what really is culture all about. And the simplest definition of culture is the way we do things around here. One doesn't have to go to Wikipedia or to go and look at any dictionary as to what culture really is. It's the way we do things around here. It's not carved in stone. A lot of it is actually role model driven by people who really believe in the organization. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, a very distinguished panel, and with your permission, panel, may I kick off? I think probably I'd like to sit down, if you don't mind. So Asim, let's start with you. Do we really need an enabling culture, given the nature of the retail industry?
Yeah, I think what you really need to have is empowerment, whereby on-the-spot decision-making is there, because you know your store managers, the people on the floor, are like field commanders, and you know from that point of view, if there's a war, you can't expect the field commander to take permission to start firing. Similarly, over here on the floor, what you need is your store manager empowered, who can take on-the-spot decisions. So I think that's something which is very important to have as part of your culture.
I think that's a beautiful metaphor, commando. So Dashiv, you all have been very much in the news about culture. What's your take? Do we really need culture?
Yeah, so I think we've been trying to, in fact the word enabling, as I was sharing with you, was a little heavy. And we're trying to really figure out what this means, and we keep debating inside the group. I think the simplest definition which I've heard from someone is really to let a person be as he would be in his normal life. And somehow I think when we take the garb of the organization, and especially when you take the garb of a large organization, some things change. So if at home I would be offering someone a glass of water naturally, when it comes to the store, suddenly the question comes कि मेरे दुकान में 2000 लोग आते हैं, will I be able to give each one a glass of water? Somehow something changes when you take the role of an organization. At home, if I'm able to make sure that a younger person in the family is encouraged to do something, when at work, one of my staff comes and says that I want to take a course and I want to take a 3-month off, the question which runs in our mind, is this going to set a wrong precedent? So I think for us really, what we really come to, the simplest definition of enabling is really to be what you would be in your normal life. I know it's difficult and you can't possibly be everything which you would be in a normal life, but I think the intent to be normal, I think is what we really define as enabling. So as Asim said, if you really look at retail, it's about, I think the business is about communities. We are, I think, in the thick of communities. We are in the middle of a catchment. We have people come and speak to us. People come and shop with us. So many people come and work with us. I think the most important thing for us to be what we would be in the normal lives, and not really take the garb of an organization saying, I need to be different. So to my mind, I think, yes, it is important. And really the enabling would be as simple as to be what one would be otherwise in day-to-day life.
Himanshu, given the fact that retail is suddenly becoming aspirational, would you, for example, want your customers to take off their shoes when they enter your shop? Because that's what we do in our homes in India.
Okay, no, not we wouldn't want our customers to do that. But I think each brand has its own values and culture. So, for example, his may be a family store, mine may not be. And if it's not a family store, family values, family culture need not necessarily be the driving culture that you want to create. But on another note, I think the bigger difficulty that we have, I think all of us struggle with this, is the cultural divide between the set of people who take a call on what should be the culture of the organization and the front line who come from different societal background. And that's a big divide. People who are trying to, even if they involve the front line, but trying to set the cultural context while the people who will carry it out or live with that culture belong to a different societal background, and how do you bring these two disparate groups together?
Govind, given the fact that in India, cuisine, language changes every couple of 100 kilometers, we're talking of a national culture here, an enabling culture. What are the issues that you see in really creating an enabling culture over here?
See, I think like what Himanshu mentioned, the first is that we expect a lot from our frontline salesmen, and a lot of them actually have not really gone through, let's say, a training in basic life skills. The person I'm dealing with is a particularly, affluent person in most cases. And in my particular context, I'm referring to maybe a customer who's typically buying Tanishq jewelry or the high-end watches at a Helios stores or something like that. So there is a guy starts with a disadvantage when he's actually trying to deal with that kind of a person. In a lot of instances in our case, you have to declare your, PAN card number and stuff like that because of some regulations which have appeared. And a person who really doesn't understand, what exactly it may possibly be. And, to be asking this person, whether you would like to declare your PAN card. I mean, you have to declare your PAN card number, and, the way you say it, etc., actually become very important. And